Greetings, I'm Dr. Al Freeman, Director of LCMS School Ministry, and we're blessed today to have Leanna Butterfield, who will be doing a Zoom series. We have a whole series of these going all the way through October will be our last one. So we're very excited to have Leanna with us.
Oh boy, all right. Thank you so much for that, and thank you for letting me be a part of your Friday morning. So sort of my goal for today is just to share some thoughts and tidbits about intentional admissions, bridging the summer gap. And so I think with admissions, oftentimes we think about the recruitment, the touring, that side of admission, the gathering and garnering of new students into our community. So what I wanted to focus on today is what do we do with those kids after the process has been completed and we move into them being a part of our community. And so summer for me is just a big part of admissions. I think a lot of times summer is seen as a dead time for us, that it's a quiet time for us, but to me, summer is just a high time of busyness for admissions. And so I just wanted to talk a little bit about that today.
I think that's true, though, throughout. I was just talking about this earlier this morning with someone else. Schools, it used to be, okay, we go August through May, and then we're off for the summertime, and isn't that great? And, we even talked about the points of the school year, maybe a little lower time of volume, everything else. School now is year-round for us.
Yes.
So admissions, year-round, it just looks a little bit different at each time of the year. So
yes. So for context, the importance of intentional admissions. So like at CCLS, the school that I work at, enrollment starts in November. So applications start to be, accepted. Priority enrollment takes place. We're placing students. And so families that are a part of that enrollment timeframe have been working with me since May, June, July of the year previously. So when you think about that, when you think of that process, some of these families have been in the queue, meaning they've reached out, they've toured, they've been working with me for a number of months, for months and months and months. So we're talking sometimes it's like a 9-month time frame by the time we get to summer that they've been with us. So that's a long process from start to finish. So when that process is complete, families can feel forgotten and they can feel like there's this void of activity, of connection. I no longer need to reach out to them anymore. They've done all the steps that they need to do. And so they can lose that sense of excitement that initially drew them to us, in the first place. And so summer, for me, is viewed as a time of work because in the education world, summer is not supposed to be a dead time necessarily. So I think it has to be a mentality shift that we in the admissions world need to look at summer as being, important and just the importance of all the things that happen in summer. Summer can be long and quiet. Families feel forgotten if there's nothing for them to do. Summer should not be your quiet season, and retention is admissions. So when I look at summer, I'm not just looking at acclimating those new families that we've gathered to the community since the process began, but also our current families, because our current families need to be continually engaged in our community to be reminded of why they are a part of what we do. So retention is as much a part of admissions as the recruitment side is. And from what I found, that community is what people crave. Assimilation, I think, is another word that should be added to the enrollment title. Like, I think enrollment, admissions, assimilation all go hand in hand. And so I think when you're doing intentional admissions, that's really assimilation is what you're doing. So when I talk about events and things that I do to bridge that summer gap, the goal of these events is not recruitment. It's not marketing. It's not branding. That has nothing to do with these events. The intentionality of these events is simply to create community, just that craving that people have to belong to something. I think we find in our community that our greatest source of recruitment is our current families talking to somebody at swim practice practice or seeing them, in the neighborhood, all those types of things. So our promoters have to be taken care of, as well as the incoming new families that we're still trying to wow with who we are. So we do a series of different things that we've been very intentional about, and we gradually grow to the larger scale events that come with summer. So we start in the very beginning. In May, we do yard signs, and it sounds simplistic and such, but for us, in the community that we live in, seeing a yard sign in somebody's yard identifies them with a place. It says, I belong here, I got in here, that sort of a thing. And so we do have our new families all get a yard sign saying, welcome to CCLS, so that they see that they belong, the neighborhood sees that they belong, but then our current families are connecting with the new families by being the deliverers of those yard signs. So it's just sort of a nice way for, us to say, welcome, we're excited you're here. And then we have our kiddos take a picture with that sign and post it on one of our social media platforms so that our larger community as a whole can say, oh, look at that, that's a new kindergartner. Oh, this is a new friend in my class. And it's just a super simple way to just start people to think about the larger community that they're becoming a part of.
I think you hit on a great point, too, because, some people might say, oh, Leanna's at CCLS, big school, multiple campuses, all this thing. You don't have to do it all on your own.
Correct.
Your key little sentence in there, the fact that we use our current families, what a great way to do that. Use your current families to go out and connect with the new families and the yard sign. What kid doesn't love a yard sign? And even high schoolers will look at it and we're like, oh, they still love it. They just won't say it the same way, and they'll keep it, and they identify with that. And that phrase, I belong to, we have some of our Lutheran schools who have used that as a theme, saying, I belong, and this is my place.
And something else with a yard sign, too, you'll find that there's some notoriety with having a yard sign in your yard that says, I got into this school. Like, there's just something to be said about broadcasting that to the world, too. It is a big deal, to be a part of the community that we are in. Why not share that with others? This is one of my favorite pictures. So with our littlest, we do have infants at CCLS. And so that might not be relevant to everybody, but for us, it is. So we have a lot of new mommies coming into our community that are having babies, whether it's their first, their third, their fifth, but it's a big deal when you send your infant to a program for the very first time. So prior to the little ones being born, we send out a little gift that just identifies these little guys as a child of God, and on the back it says CCLS, and it's just a little gift from us to them that says, hey, we're so excited your little one is on the way. We're so thankful that you're entrusting us with the care of this precious gift. Here's a little reminder of how important you are to us. And then we ask that when their little guy arrives that they send a picture for us so that we can kind of broadcast to the community that our newest little charger has arrived. So another event that happens just right prior to summer. So all of these things that I'm referring to are happening in the last month of school, kind of as we build to the silence of summer, I guess you could say. We do a large end of school chapel where the guests of honor are our new incoming students. And so it gives them a taste of CCLS as a whole, this community, this body of Christ that worships together and praises together and celebrates the graduation of the 8th graders and all that kind of, things. And so we invite all of our new families to be our guests of honor. So they have reserved seating, they have reserved parking, they get to enter in early. The principals are there at the door greeting them. It's just a way for them to feel the importance that they have in our community, all while engaging them in the bigger picture of who we are. So, it's just sort of an awesome way to kick off, the summer.
Yeah, what a fun experience too.
Yeah,
it can be overwhelming, but then when you're in the midst of it, you realize, wow, look at this! It's so powerful. And
I'm
exciting.
Thinking about our end of the year chapel this year, and they came in a little bit deer in headlights ish, but they left smiling and laughing, and their kids were kind of hopping out because they'd been dancing to a song, and it was just sort of it was really special. We also do a last day of school picnic, so directly following that end of the year chapel, we all head to the park to do a picnic. And forgot to mention that these events do not have to be like large scale and expensive. Most of what we do has little to no cost, whether it's covered by a Thrivent grant or a gracious donor, or just is so simplistic in nature that it doesn't require any purchase of any items. So that's important to remember too, that you don't need to break the budget in order to do community events like this in the summer. Like the last day of school picnic, the only families that we're providing food for are our new families, because they're our guests. What better way to tell them that we'd love for them to come, we'd like to host you, is to provide a special lunch for them. All of our other families are bringing their lunches and having a picnic. And so they're connecting with current families, enjoying time together, getting to meet new families, but in a really laid-back environment. This is also a prime place for us to start connecting our families with our churches. We're unique in the sense that we're a 4-church association, and so it's always a challenge and an expectation that we keep connected with all of those amazing congregations that support us. And then we do kindergarten play dates all summer long. You can see those examples there. They're super simple, but it gives all of our incoming kindergartners the opportunity to come play together, for the moms to socialize together, for them to ask questions of me. I always have some veteran kindergarten parents there, ones that have graduated their littles, to head on to the first grade year, so that there is somebody else besides me who can start to be a source of questions answers and guidance for these families, but just further is going to connect those new families, those incoming kindergartners, to that next big world of elementary school. And we always try to offer opportunities for working parents and stay-at-home parents, because you never want the working parent to not be able to participate in any of these activities, because it's as important for them to be a part of these early years at elementary as it is, for the kids to get engaged and involved. And so this is actually fairly new to us in the last year. We're actually going to do events for all of our age groups. So it's a lot of work, because a lot of these are evening hours, because that's when kids are available and parents are able to get kids there. But for every incoming class, we're doing an event this summer to get them together, socializing, outside of school. And so I'm super excited about it. Families are super excited about it. And so each opportunity will have faculty members there, so that the teachers for those incoming grades are a part of the activities. There'll be a lead team member there, just so it kind of bridges the gap between the leadership and the common folk, if you want to say it that way. And then there'll be some veteran parents there who will kind of be my go-to volunteers, because I myself cannot do this alone. I have to have other people involved in the community to help me out with that. And so this is gathering everybody together, new and old, parents and lead team and staff. So they're going to be pretty engaging opportunities, and some of them don't cost a thing. And then our last big shebang that we do at the end of summer is we gather the entire school population for a pool party. We're very blessed to have a wonderful member of our community who is able to donate this for us at a local aquatic center. And so we're able to gather 750 plus individuals in one location on one evening to be together. So it's just kind of an awesome way to kick off the school year. All staff is there, all lead team members are there, and it's just a way for us to show, support, excitement, joy for the upcoming school year, but also that one last opportunity to order uniforms, talk to me, connect on other issues too. So it's a super fun event that has become a tradition for us. I think if I ever got rid of it, we might have a chaos, because people just expect that event, and they expect to meet new families, and they expect to reconnect with old. So it's kind of become a neat tradition for us.
That's great, though, too, is part of this is developing those traditions. And, I'll go back to just a couple of those prior slides. You don't have to spend a lot of money. We always say, well, how are we going to staff this? How are we going to pay for it? There are creative ways. You don't have to go all out and have a blowout and spend a lot of dollars. You can do it cost effectively. A lot of people want to donate too.
They do.
So you can find businesses, and especially in the summertime, they know kids need to be active, they need to be engaged, they need to have some things to do.
Absolutely.
So individual donors, local businesses, ice cream places, you name it. They're looking for opportunities like this
yes,
because
you just
it
have
helps
to be willing
them.
to ask. So
You don't ask, you don't get. That's a fundraising mantra. You have to ask to get. Although I will be honest, there are some times where our people are just so generous they do give to you without the ask even, which is
true.
incredibly amazing. But go around and ask, and also this is the old cast the wide net too. Don't forget your parents are involved in things. They might own a business, they might have business connections, congregation members. And a lot of times, you think, well, how do we connect congregation and school? This is a great way to connect congregation and school. Awesome job. We're incredibly blessed to have you with us and doing this today, and we look forward to the future sessions. And as always, Will has put links to our YouTube and prior Zooms as well that we've done, and also a link to the PowerPoint that Leanna has here. And we're very excited that you joined us today and look forward to seeing you on future Zooms of Follow Up Friday.
Thanks.
Blessings on your day.